Welcome to the STARS program, seniors taking active roles in society. And now, here's your host, ANITA FINLEY.
Julia Lewis SPANN, who is with Lincoln Heritage Life Insurance Company, and it's called the Funeral Advantage Plan. And I'm going to let Julia tell you all about it. Good morning.
Good morning, Anita.
So, we go from elections and trying to make everyone get a chance to vote to people who we know are eventually going to pass away. And yet they have a chance now to vote for them for what's going to happen to them.
Yes.
It's a different way to vote, right?
Yes, for sure. We give you the option, we give you the election to, if you're from the ages of 30 days to 85 years of age, to be able to vote for your family's future. We have been around for over 50 years, since 1963. Lincoln Heritage Life Insurance Company is licensed in the 49 states, the District of Columbia, and Puerto Rico. We have over $5.2 billion of life insurance policies in force. We have over 690,000 family members because we're a family-owned company, and we have a surplus of over $700 million. So we're not going anywhere. We're a very strong, reliable company.
Well, the one thing that impressed me when I first met you about what you do, because a lot of people sell, life insurance, or they sell funeral, arrangements and all, but something I wasn't aware of, that if you have a life insurance policy and you pass away, or your loved one passes away, and you need to have the money to handle everything, and you have to, at least I assumed, that you called the life insurance company and, within a week or however, short time, hopefully, even less than a week, you get some money. So you need, because they're not going to just hold the body, they're not going to hold arrangements. And you told me that's not true. Why don't you explain this?
Yes. With most life insurance companies, by law, they have anywhere from 2 weeks to 6 months to give the family, the beneficiaries, I should say, the proceeds. There's a lot of investigation that goes on around fulfilling a claim for the insurance policy face amount. They have to investigate what the circumstances were of the death, and to then get all the documentation, and then they have to vet out the fact that these people are entitled to the proceeds of the insurance. And so with Lincoln Heritage, on the other hand, we cut out a lot of that because it's a very simple, clean process for us. We've mastered that. And that's the added value, because when someone passes away, the first thing you need is some cash to operate with. So within 24 hours of death, we were able to fulfill that claim and give you the money directly to your bank account.
Well, thinking about as you're saying that, and I don't have anything against insurance companies because I have a lot of insurance, but I guess it's in their own interest in a way, in two ways, that they have to make sure, of course, the person did die,
Yes.
and that they died correctly in the sense and that everything is on the up and up.
Yes.
And so all that does take time. They're not sitting by their phone saying, there's a death, let's write a check, right?
Right.
They have a lot of people in the go-between. They have to do this, they have to do that, and then the clock's ticking.
Yes.
Tick tock, and then
Yes.
a week goes by, and another week, and you call them, wait a minute, I'm still waiting, I need the money.
Yes.
And we're talking about, it's not like you need $1,000. We're talking about, more like $10,000 for a lot of things that have to happen, especially if you're going to send someone up north, or you're going to have, there's a lot of things that have to happen, right?
Yes, there are a lot of final expenses.
Yeah, because we know that the Social Security check stops within, actually, I think they just deduct it right away once they find that, right?
Yes.
So cash is really king. And
Yes.
the fact that your company's been doing this for so long, do you have some people that you can share with us? We have a lot of testimonies. In fact, I was very impressed with something that you do. Our company's been around for 25 years, and a lot of people love us, but we've never collected testimonials. After I heard what you did with all your testimonies, I told my staff, listen, start getting testimonials for us because we do good things.
Yes.
And I love the fact that you had that.
Yes. Here's a testimonial that I'm going to read one of the letters that we got sent. It was a letter of appreciation, and this is one from a lady who talked about her husband's passing and how Lincoln Heritage, the Funeral Advantage Plan, was able to come in and help them and support them. She said, "I very much appreciate the promptness of getting my claim processed. Social Security wasted no time reclaiming my husband's May check."
And I never saw that sheet.
Yes. She said, which I had already paid bills on. That's what you get hit the worst at the worst times. She said, "So you can imagine how happy I was getting this check so soon. I will certainly recommend your company to my family and friends." Just a little short note of appreciation to Lincoln Heritage Life Insurance Company with the Funeral Advantage Plan. We give you the advantage because we give you the money so quickly. 24
and is it
hours.
very expensive for this insurance?
No, we make it affordable. We make it something that's comfortable for you. We customize. That's why we come personally to your home or to your place of business, wherever you'd like to meet. I just did a few last weekend at McDonald's. I did one at McDonald's. He up in Vero Beach. He wanted to do his there. Some people are afraid to have people come to their home. They're whatever. But we're like social workers sometimes because we're there to meet your needs. You cannot be in Lincoln Heritage. I can speak for Lincoln Heritage Life Insurance. You cannot be in our company and not love people and not have that social worker mentality. You're there. You're not there to judge. You're there to support. You're there to inform. You're there to educate. And you're there to empower and to give people hope. People, a lot of times they think, oh, I have this illness, or I was declined, or I remember having this insurance policy with XYZ company and they canceled me because I came down with this illness. But with Lincoln Heritage, we give you the hope that, hey, even if you have a few health issues, we're still going to say, yes, your chances of being accepted are yes. We don't do a physical. There's no physical exam. Just ask a few medical questions. And I've been able to say yes to hundreds and hundreds of people who've been canceled, people who've been declined, people who've been rejected by other options that they wanted to have, or they probably had a plan, even a pre-need plan at a funeral home, and found out, as that story I told the other time, where they put all this money into a pre-need plan at a funeral home and then found out after 20 years that the funeral home was defunct. When their mother died in October, they went back to go to the funeral home that they found some paper on in the house, and they didn't exist. And they couldn't claim their monies or anything like that. Now, there's nothing against pre-need. We're not pre-need. But what we do is we give your family the money to operate and to have that control over which funeral home you're going to choose. You don't want to be at the mercy of, oh, well, we don't have enough money, or all of our money was put at this one place. With our partners, the Funeral Consumer Guardian Society, they're a family-owned company as well, and they have been doing this generation after generation. As their name suggests, they are there to protect the rights of the consumers, you, your family, your loved ones. So when you pass away, your daughter, your son, your loved ones will have people who are advocating on their behalf. They're going to do comparison shopping for you in the area that you want to be, either buried or cremated, whatever services you want performed. They're going to research all of that for you. And they're going to have a current list because they have a network of thousands of funeral homes and crematories all throughout the nation. And they also have connections globally because there are people who want to be buried back in the Caribbean, or even if they're not from there. Some people just, hey, I want my ashes scattered, in this off this coast. So you have so many options that you can choose from that we give you with Lincoln Heritage. And that's what I love about us.
Right. Well, and I think you said something that's very important. They've been around for a long time, and it's really, you have to start looking at that nowadays because it seems like things are popping up all the time, but it's
Yes.
always good. You can get on the website, but actually going on a website is not enough. You need to go and you have to investigate it. And then you have to talk with someone like Julie, and Julie Lewis SPANN is their representative. And that way you really know who you're dealing with.
Yes.
And then, of course, Julie, you'll have their, all their benefit at your heart because they're going to call you, I guess, first. That's what they're going to do. And then you're going to open up those doors. Other than, and the one bad thing about insurance companies, not what your kind is, that maybe you bought life insurance 20 years ago, 30 years ago, and you become an orphan. There's a thing in that business. They never call you again. It's over. And unless you really need that company, there's nobody that even knows you.
Yes.
And so that's one thing I know that you're not going to do. Your company has to take care of that person because I think that's what they're paying for, frankly.
Yes, we constantly are in contact with our clients. Each of us as agents, as consultants, we're in touch with not only the covered individual, but also with their families because their families have needs. The beneficiaries of those policies have needs. They may have questions about their coverage, want to increase it. I get calls. As a matter of fact, I have to go to a man this weekend. He's up in Melbourne. We go all throughout the state of Florida and any state, Indiana, whatever state. We're all over. But my territory is in the state of Florida. And so I will go as far as Pensacola. I'll go to Naples. I'll go to Tampa. I'll go, anywhere in the homestead, way down in, the Keys or wherever. I will go to where you are to meet your needs because it's just different. There's a different dynamic when you're face to face. And also to your point, Anita, it protects you as a consumer from fraud because as you know, the state of Florida and just in this day and age, there's so much of this identity theft. So we want to make sure that doesn't occur. We, when you see face to face, okay, this person is alive. This is a real person. They're not going off of someone who's, dead or something and trying to, make a fake policy. We are trained in anti-fraud measures, what to look for, what the signals are. Anything with abuse of elders, we're trained on that. We have to be very cautious and aware and proactive about protecting our seniors, and our military veterans as well. A number of them are military veterans, and we have to also, protect their rights. We have a role to play in that. So we're not just coming there to, sell you a policy and get as much money. We have to make sure that it's in your best interests as an individual, as a family. So Lincoln Heritage, we come along with something that is geared, tailored, designed just for the final expenses. That's all we're taking care of. We're not telling you, cancel all your other policies that you had for 50 years. Hold on to what you have if it's comfortable for you, and use the benefits of the Funeral Advantage plan to get that emergency cash in hand. So your children, your loved ones don't have to fork out, $3,000, for your cremation or your final expenses, $5,000, because there's travel expenses. It's not just the actual funeral service, but there are other things surrounding it. As I shared, when my father passed away, we decided as the kids to sell the house that he was living in. So we had to hire movers. We had to hire people to clean after that and set the place up to make it, to sell it and put it on the market. So there are other expenses, unexpected medical expenses or other bills that need to be cleared up. So, it's liquid cash that you're going to have available and you're going to have control over it because we give the money to you.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking when you said liquid cash. That's really a good term. There are a lot of families now who are all, of course, are spread across the country, and someone passes away, and many of them would love to come to the funeral, but they don't have the money.
Yes.
And so this would then give, and they can't, if you're going to have a funeral, you can't wait 2 months by the time life insurance pays you. You got to have it. You got to have the money right away. And of course, you can go into your credit cards if you want. Oh, but that's another story. Let's just, what we need to do is let's get into some prices. Let's say someone's listening and they say, well, I have a life insurance policy, but final expenses, yeah, we don't have a lot of cash. What do I have to sign up for just to get into the nitty gritty of this?
Sure. Well, when I sit down with my clients, when we as a company sit down with our clients one-on-one or with the family, husband and wife, a lot of husbands and wives sign up at the same time. What we do is, first of all, we discover what are your needs? What are your needs? What are you looking for? Have you attended a funeral recently or, at any time? What was your experience like? So did you get any ideas from that when you saw how those things, the procession took place? Did you get an idea of what type of arrangements you would like? So do you want a cremation? Do you want a direct cremation? Or do you want a better one where you have like a memorial with a picture of yourself? Or do you want one that looks like a traditional funeral in a casket and then just have the cremation after that? We walk you through that whole process. And the simplest cremation, these are estimates, but the costs, as we know, are rising along with everything else. The simplest cremation is anywhere from like $1,250. And then it can range from up to $3,000 and then up to $6,000, depending on how much you want to do. And that's just the base cost of those final expenses that are involved. If you're going to do a traditional funeral, like a direct burial or something, you could go anywhere from $6,000 to $10,000, sometimes $12,000. And none of us are planning to die anytime soon. But you can imagine that as time goes on, if we pass away 20, 30 years from now, that price, that's going to double probably. It's going to increase at least by 50%. So you want to have something in place so that when the time comes that your loved ones have that cash set aside. Now, some people say, well, I can put money away in the bank. Well, have you? Have you been doing that for the last 10 years? Most people have not. So the discipline, is also a benefit that you get from having this policy, having life insurance with Lincoln Heritage, the Funeral Advantage Plan. Because once you're in with us, it's a whole life benefit. Once you're in, we cover you for your entire life. And your policy cannot be canceled because of age or health changes. So as long as you're paying the premium, month after month, it's like your little savings plan, and not exactly savings, but it's a disciplined method of storing that money away. And that whole life policy is going to build cash values there for you. And then your free membership with the Funeral Consumer Guardian Society ensures that what you want done, your final wishes, are honored. We secure that document that you're going to fill out and say, these are the prayers I want said. This is the songs I want. I want this poem. I want to leave this legacy. I want to leave these memories. This is what I want done with my pets.
It's funny. As you're talking, I was thinking about Nancy Reagan. I don't know if you heard that.
Yes.
She had everything planned for her funeral. Did you hear about that?
Oh, that's interesting because similarly, one of my relatives, we just had a family reunion like a year and a half ago, and the same thing. They had pre-written their obituary and said thank you to the people whom they wanted to say thank you to. They wanted that read out at their funeral.
How nice.
So it's really good to have the upper hand and instead of the other way around. It's good. We give you that advantage. This is the funeral advantage. We give you the paperwork and we help you and walk you through that whole process. It's very difficult. It's hard to talk about this, but we're all going to go. I mean, I'm a young person. I mean, my kids are young. I have this policy on them. Again, we go
unfortunately, we hear about terrible things happening.
Yes, I mean,
we can't help. But it is, and I always said this, the worst crisis is when you have lost someone you love. You want to really think about that. But all of a sudden you start getting hit with well, you didn't pay this, and this person wants their money, and this is, and then, especially, I would think that the funeral homes, I mean, they really want their money. If they're going to get you, they're going to pick you up and put you in there waiting for the funeral. They're not waiting for their money. I mean, I don't know if they just put you out in the street if you don't have the money, but I have no idea what happens there. But I think that either you're right, either people are going to have a savings that they don't touch, and it's for that,
Right.
or they're going to go this easy way. And some of your prices, I was amazed at how inexpensive. What'd you say? Just give an idea of how inexpensive some things can be, because they're not very hard to think about.
It's not. I mean, for as little as $1 a day, people can get this coverage. I mean, we can qualify you. We can see how to get you qualified, and even with some health issues, we can get you something
And then how much money if you something? Let's say let's say $500 for the year. Okay, and what kind of insurance would that be?
Well, we also, in addition to what we do here, there are 3 things that we do with Lincoln Heritage, the Funeral Advantage Plan. We will give you the whole life protection, permanent coverage, with standard rates, rates that stay the same, I should say. Those rates, those premiums never increase, and your benefits never decrease. So it's stable. It's because when you're on a fixed income, the older we get, is the more fixed our income is going to be.
Right.
And you don't want any surprises down the line. So we lock in that premium rate, and we lock in the benefits. So we don't decrease that on you when you're going to need it the most. You can always increase at a later date, but we usually start with something that's comfortable for you. And then if you'd like to increase how much coverage you have, then you can do that along the way. So as long as you're paying your premiums, everything's going to stay the same. You're not going to get any surprises. We're very reliable. I mean, we're a family-owned company. That's why it started by Jack London, and we made sure that we are in the best interest of you and your family. So for $1, as little as $1 a day, we've been able to get something cleared for someone.
So you at least they don't have to worry about the financial. I mean, look, maybe it won't be enough, but they'll have some money, and their life insurance. When you think about, say, they have $100,000 in life insurance, they'll eventually get that if everything is, of course, on the up and up, as you said. But it's just, this is really like what we call in real estate an interim loan.
Yes, and
but it isn't a loan. It's your gift. It's just that it's an interim to get you over the hard time.
That emergency cash that you're going to need at that
very
point.
Important. Well, Julia, it's always wonderful having you here. I loved doing this. Let me give some information. You can call Julia at 754-234-8252. That's 754-234-8252. Or you can go to the website, which is funeraladvantage.com. Funeraladvantage.com. And Julia Lewis Spann, that's SPANN, with Lincoln Heritage Life Insurance Company. It's been wonderful having you here.
Thank you so much.